Okay, let's be honest. Two things can be true at the same time. The lives of many black and brown voters did, in fact, improve under the Biden administration. That's true. But we can also still feel very let down by Democrats as a whole, feeling taken for granted, particularly as black voters. So as some folks are wondering if their vote even matters as they watch Republicans gerrymander their communities and political power into oblivion, it prompts a very important question. What do you say to your non-political cousin or friend who says voting never changes anything? Back with me, LaTosha Brown. She's a co-founder of Black Voters Matter. And also joining us, Roland Martin, host of the hashtag Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show. Thank you, Roro, for being here. LaTosha, I want to start out with you because this whole thing started because legendary rapper Uncle Luke of 2 Live Crew fame, Don't Stop, Get It, set off a firestorm when he posted this question on Twitter, basically saying, give me 5 accomplishments for black folks and then give me 5 reasons to vote. I do want to say we did invite Luke to join us. He was trying his best effort to make it work, and we had him yesterday, but they couldn't change his flight, so he's not here. I do want to say he says that he feels he was misunderstood in this tweet and that he was not saying don't vote. But LaTosha, I've heard you preach a sermon on this, and my question to you is, why should black people vote?
You know, I'll give them, instead of 5 reasons, I'll give them 41.6 million reasons, because black people matter. At the end of the day, there are consequences that go with elections. And so let me say this, even to Uncle Luke, you know, on one level, you know, I understand his frustration. What he is saying, and he's capturing, I think, part of the frustrations that we've been hearing as we've been going out talking to black voters. There has been this sense of not feeling like they've gotten what it is that they voted for. And I think that there's truth in that. I think, but also we have to really recognize that there are consequences when we don't vote. Yeah. Case in point, I'll go back from 2012 to 2016. What happened in 2012? We had a record number. 2016, it was a decline in 20 years of black voters turning out. What did we get? Donald Trump. Right. What did Donald Trump do when he came into office? He created, from the Muslim ban to disproportionately impacting black immigrants to actually creating policies that hurt black people in the black community and packing the courts with folks that we're dealing with the repercussions now. And so we have to really have this nuanced conversation, because we're in this political context that we inherited, that quite frankly, we're in a political system that from the very start did everything it could to disenfranchise and not include black people in the process. And so we're still dealing with structural racism within the political process. We also have to recognize that we have consequences in our communities when we don't vote. We have to be a part of the policy-making process for the health and well-being of our community.
And our sisters, Joy Reid and Jamel Hill, tried to get them together. You know, I would just add to that before I bring you in, Roro, is, look, a wise woman by the name of LaTosha Brown told me, because there are so many people who say, you want me to believe in this system that poisoned my community, that keeps me in red line communities, that keeps my schools, my children in dilapidated schools. And the thing that you say that I think is most important, we're not asking you to believe in the system, brother. We're asking you to believe in you. And so that's what we would say to Uncle Luke. But listen, Roland, I think this is such a challenge because there are so many people who feel like him. There are justified criticisms of Democrats in the Biden administration. But there are so many things that they have done that matter. And there are droves of people who feel like my vote doesn't count. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, when someone asks a question, 2 things happen. What are they implying and what am I inferring? And so when I looked at his question, my response was not, Luke, what the hell's wrong with you? I actually listened to his question. He said, name me 5 things. Go back to Biden's Lift Every Voice plan. It's on JoeBiden.com. He talked about, first important, diversifying the federal bench, naming a black woman to the Supreme Court, but not just that, more women of color, including black women and black men, to the federal bench. This week, 5 women of color were advanced in the United States Senate. You have more black women appointed to the appeals court by President Joe Biden than any other point in history combined. Now, somebody might say, man, it's federal judges, no big deal. Trust me, when you're suing, when you look at all of these decisions that federal judges are striking things down, you understand the value of federal judges. 2, increasing and expanding the Small Business Administration. Last month, they actually expanded the program for African-American black-owned businesses to be able to increase their capacity when it comes to SBA loans. He put in his plan, make the Minority Business Development Agency permanent. That took place race in December, increased their funding, which was cut by 75% by President Trump. They locked in $110 million. So the bottom line is here. When I can give you 5 now. Was the Georgia Floyd Justice Act? No. Voting rights expansion? No.
Right.
But they have, I can answer that, but but the Biden administration has to also do a better job of messaging to black people what they've done specifically, not in general.
Well, people can look at the tweet and they can see that people responded overwhelmingly. He got many reasons. But, Roland, I want to stick with you for a second because this is something that confounds me. There seems to be a gender divide here. There does seem to be more black men who feel this way than there are black women. And let me say black men overwhelmingly support the Democratic Party when it comes to voting, but just in the numbers of who actually votes and gets out there. There also seems to be a generational divide because there are a lot of, particularly in the hip-hop community, I mean, you look at Busta Rhymes and, you know, some of the people of Luke's generation who adopt this mentality. Why do you think that it is specific to black men, disproportionate to black women who feel this way?
Well, here's the deal. Let's go back to Obama running against Romney. There was a 9-point gap between black men and black women supporting Obama. That's where it started. There are a lot of brothers who felt Obama did not follow through on his promises. They felt completely ignored and disenfranchised. Now you go to 2016, that number expanded. I specifically told Hillary Clinton and her team, y'all got a black male problem. They didn't listen. That thing expanded in 2020. You've got black men who say, we're looking at brothers in prison, looking at incarceration. You got also black men who are business owners, and they're looking at this whole thing from an economic standpoint. Here's the piece. If you want to compete for votes, you got to compete. And so if you are Democrats, you better figure out a message to black men. Look, they've done very well with messaging to black women. But even in the last campaign, they had these barbershop talks. They were not even pushed out significantly by the Joe Biden campaign. Democrats, I've been warning them and other people, Mondale Robinson, other people have been warning them for a decade. Y'all got a problem. They've been asleep at the wheel. So the same problem they have in South Texas, Latinos, they've got with black men. They got to they got to shore up that messaging. And how are you going to help brothers move forward? They got to answer it.
Right. We're out of time, LaTosha. I just want to give you closing thoughts before.
Closing thoughts. I also think that we're underestimating misinformation and disinformation. There's a calculated, concerted effort to actually literally be able to attack black men and how black men exploit what they're feeling, their anger in this moment.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Thank you for bringing that up. Roland Martin's going to stick around and join us in the next hour. Thank you so much, LaTosha, for being here. She's running to catch a flight, so I appreciate you making time this morning. Coming up next, white replacement theory is real. Just not the way you think. My essay is next. Plus, hundreds of protesters have been gathering outside of the NRA convention taking place in Texas just days after the school shooting that left 19 children and 2 teachers dead. We're going to go live outside that convention in the next hour. Stay with us.